Welcome to the extra video for Broly, wherein we play as him in what is considered probably to be the worst Dragon Ball Z game, Dragon Ball Z Sagas. He's an extra character you get after beating the game. And his defining feature in this game is appropriately that he is incredibly overpowered, especially since the game ends after the Cell Saga. He is the strongest character and he is capable of destroying many of the enemies in a single blow. He also eradicates the bosses rather quickly, but considering how much health the bosses have, rather quickly is up to your opinion. I suppose his purpose here is just to be a god mode after you beat the game, which may or may not be frustrating, depending on whether you know how to play it. And by know how to play it, I mean how good you are at exploiting it. The game itself is at least interesting for having a different structure from normal Dragon Ball Z games, but it is very broken. It is unusual not to encounter multiple glitches in a single playthrough. The game design is horrendously unbalanced, in your favor, believe it or not. And the bosses have obscene amounts of health. So it's not very fun to play, is what I'm saying. But it is at least unique, and you can appreciate it for that. As Broly does break the design more than it's already broken, there sadly isn't much to say about playing with him. It is nice that they bothered to include him as an extra character, considering the game's relatively low player character count. But the game also obviously had some budget constraints, to say the least. So I'd consider being able to play as Broly a positive to begin with. Now, in addition to our normal blast, we can charge up a blast that is capable of destroying large boulders like this. It also, of course, deals more damage than our regular blasts, and the explosions are kind of impressive for the time period. But in spite of the large explosions, they don't actually have any splash damage. You usually hit one enemy and only one enemy with all of your attacks. It is possible to hit multiple, but it is rare, and I'm not sure if it's even intentional. It feels like they specifically didn't want you to hit multiple enemies.
Don't mess with me.
Raditz is predictably the game's first boss, and he is for some reason more difficult than the two ensuing bosses against both Nappa and Vegeta. He seems to react a lot better to your attacks, is what I'm saying, and that kind of matters a lot. You may see how fast Raditz's health is decreasing and think that doesn't seem like it's decreasing very fast at all. I thought you said Broly was overpowered. Well, if you understood how slowly the health bar normally goes down, you would understand how special this is. One of the more interesting features of Dragon Ball Z Sagas is the ability to instantaneously teleport to an enemy character and then start clobbering the shit out of them. This is an upgrade that you have to buy for some reason, but it is crucial to the gameplay. Raditz attempted to combo us just there, but somehow he timed it wrong, even though the combo is automatic. So it's very impressive that he somehow did it incorrectly. The game has varying combos of different lengths and difficulties, but they're all pretty easy, so there's no reason not to just use the longest and best ones. It's not like they perform different functions aside from a single exception. The exception being that normal combos can end in a block breaker, while the strongest combo cannot. So sometimes it's beneficial to use a weaker combo to break the enemy's block before using the stronger one. But usually you're just going to spam the stronger one all the time. After Raditz goes down, we're going to go straight to Nappa instead of bothering with Nappa's stage. Nappa is a strangely powerful character as he has the capability to break the game by simply disappearing when you deal the final blow, thus rendering the cutscene unplayable. So you have to be careful of that, and by be careful of it, I mean just, you know, hope it doesn't happen, because there's no way to prevent it as far as I know. You're either just lucky or you aren't. But aside from that, this fight demonstrates that we can kick enemies into the background, which actually looks really cool. It's fun to look at. It doesn't do anything particularly interesting, but it's a neat touch. And the back of the case did advertise environmental damage, so they made good on that. Nappa's supposed to stop after his health goes down a certain amount and start summoning Cybermen, but we hit him so strongly, consistently, and quickly that he just seemed to forget to do that. He's also capable of throwing a blast that stuns you and makes you spasm out in the air, but I doubt he's going to do that either. You could hear Bulma saying that Nappa just summoned Cybermen, but they didn't actually appear because he couldn't finish his animation. We just beat him up too quickly. That time he was successful. I wish I could point to Nappa's ability to summon Cybermen as something unique, but there's another character that does something similar later. But we're not going to see him.
You are no match for a super elite.
This fight is presumably supposed to be the most difficult of the Saiyan saga, but it ends up being the least difficult, because Vegeta's attacks don't hurt for shit. The most dangerous thing about Vegeta is that you can accidentally knock him so far away that you can't teleport to him immediately, and that's unfortunate. Generally, you can only teleport to characters that are on the screen at the time. He has this second attack where he summons a whole bunch of explosions that either stun lock you or send you into a permanent state of blocking until it's over. But even if every single one of those blasts hits you, and there are a lot of them, they still don't deal significant damage, even on the hardest difficulty. So that's depressing. But that's it for this look at Broly in Dragon Ball Z Sagas. Stay tuned for my full Let's Play of Dragon Ball Z Sagas coming soon. Cause that's gonna happen.